It is a huge week in the NFL. The draft coming up Thursday. We talk about the first round Thursday, 2 and 3 Friday, 4 through 7 on Saturday. So it is a huge 3-day event down in Pittsburgh. Going to have a big old grand time. Every time they move the draft, Chris, to different cities, it's a cool thing. It was always fun when it was at Radio City Music Hall. Yep. They had a big old deal there for years. But I like the way they've been moving it around the country.
Lambeau Field had a nice little party for it as well.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh, it's going to be rocking.
Oh, man. Yeah, one of the cornerstone franchises in the NFL. We bring in our draft analyst and everybody else's draft analyst, Rob Rang of Fox Sports. He's been covering the draft for over 25 years. And, Rob, we definitely appreciate you jumping on with us today because you can imagine we've seen your mock draft and we've seen all the questions from all the people that want to know about the NFL draft. But we appreciate you coming on.
Rob is the GOAT. Let's just admit right now. He is the greatest of all time. I mean, I'm telling you what, Paul, the GMs sit and listen to Rob because they pretty much steal his picks, Paul, and they go with his picks. So with that in mind, it's going to be fun to break this down. Tomorrow, Rob, is the big draft. Round 1, Seahawks holding on number 32 as we speak. I think we heard from General Manager John Schneider. That pick is pretty much up for sale. Let's begin with your Seahawks mock draft. Everybody loves to hear this. We'll kind of go down through the whole thing. Let's begin with number 32. Paul and I have discussed this on the show already, Rob. We think that they're trading that away. What are your thoughts on 32?
I think that you guys are both experts as well then, and thank you so much for the kind words. I do think that there is a strong possibility that the Seahawks will be trading out at number 32 overall selection. In my personal mock draft, I have them trading with their division rival, believe it or not, Arizona Cardinals, to move down 2 spots. The Cardinals will be going up to get the Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson. What Seahawks fans are most interested in is that the Seattle would be acquiring an extra selection in the 5th round and also being able to select a player they likely would be taking number 32 overall, that being the Notre Dame running back Jadarian Price.
Okay. See, Price, we've heard about the running back. You don't think that's too high to take a running back?
I do not. I think, for one, Jadarian Price is a phenomenal talent that he absolutely deserves to be selected in that 30-ish range, late first round to mid-second round. Also, I think as the defending Super Bowl champions, the Seahawks don't have to apologize for where they slot players. In my opinion, running back is the biggest area of concern for this team. There is a significant drop-off after Jadarian Price, in my opinion. I think that John Schneider and a lot of Seahawks fans will sleep a lot better Thursday nights if they either select him at number 32 overall or make him one of the very first selections on day 2 on Friday.
Well, let me ask you this, Rob. I mean, you're talking about just a move of 2 spots or so. It's such a minimal move for the Cardinals to give up a draft pick to move up to that spot. Are they seeing something or anticipating something in front of them that could possibly be taking Simpson?
Well, and I love that question, Paul, because I do think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be a little bit nervous at the New York Jets, who have the first pick of the 2nd round, number 33 overall. They also have a need at the quarterback position. And what people forget is that the NFL rules dictate that any player selected in the first round, the team that selects them gets a 5th-year option on the rookie contract. And so it is a huge value there to be able to select a player in the first round as opposed to the 2nd or any following round. So I do think the Arizona Cardinals will have all kinds of incentive to move up and make Ty Simpson their quarterback for 4 years guaranteed and possibly a 5th-year option, knowing the way that salaries, especially at quarterback, can absolutely explode.
Rob Rang, I'm loving the insight. I got my clipboard here, Rob, so I'm taking notes. I've added a 5th-round pick for the Seahawks. So moving from 32 to 34, we're getting the prices right, running back. So now we move down to, I'm checking my notes here, 64. Is that where we're at right now? Their next pick?
Yep.
Okay, where do they go with that?
I think that there's going to be a run on edge rushers. And so assuming Seattle does not take an edge rusher at number 32 overall, I do believe that that is going to be one of the positions that they will address. Let me just say this. I think that in whatever order, running back, edge rusher, cornerback, those are going to be 3 of Seattle's selections in this draft. So again, whatever order that winds up going, I think that they're going to go with the running back in the first in their first selection, Jadarian Price we talked about. At number 64 overall, Michigan's edge rusher Derek Moore, to me, checks an awful lot of boxes for the Seahawks. He's 6'4", he's 255 pounds, he's got long arms, he's got explosive power and burst off the edge. He was one of the most efficient edge rushers in all of college football this past season. He went to Michigan, of course. Mike McDonald has the ties to the University of Michigan as well. And I just think that he looks like a future NFL starter and gives Seattle a lot of flexibility with some aging players like DeMarcus Lawrence and Uchenna Nwosu on the outside.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he had 2 sacks against the Huskies, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe he did.
I think he had 10 sacks for the season. Yeah, he can get to the QB, Paul.
All right, Rob. So we're talking about edge rushers, and it feels like this draft is thin at running back, but it's a little bit heavy on the edge rusher. So maybe the Seahawks have a little bit of a luxury of kind of waiting into that second round to get somebody of quality.
Exactly, Paul. I think that's the strategy here, that if you want a running back, you probably have to get him early or just hope that a player like University of Washington's Jonah Coleman or Arkansas's Mike Washington is available. There's 2 or 3 running backs that I think are future NFL starters. And so with 32 NFL teams out there, there's a possibility that you lose out on them. Whereas edge rusher, and the same thing with defensive backs, both corners and safeties, those are 2 of the strongest positional groups in this class. That's why I think that you can wait and select one on day 2.
Okay, Rob. So the Seahawks have picked now at 34. They've got their running back. They've picked at 64. They've got their edge rusher. On that trade with 32 to 34, I want to go back on my notes. Did we pick up another pick in that? Did we get a 5th round or anything in there?
Yes, the 5th rounder that I have for Arizona, number 143 overall. That's roughly the halfway point between where Seattle is currently slated to select, number 96 at the late portion of the 3rd round, and then their next pick, 188 overall in the 6th round. That, to me, is kind of the area that I think that the Seahawks are going to try to split the difference, just have a pick somewhere in that roughly 90-pick gap. Okay. That's one of the reasons why I think that 5th round selection does hold significant value for Seattle.
So the next pick on your board would be 96 or 90?
Not so fast, my friend. Yes, 90 overall. And that's where I think that Seattle might get cute. This upcoming year, Seattle is projected to have several compensatory picks. Of course, they lost Kenneth Walker III, Boye Mafe, Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant via free agency, and they're going to get some compensatory picks for that. Some are predicting that Seattle's going to have as many as 12 draft picks in 2027, Chris. So I just don't think that this is a roster that is going to be able to handle 12 rookie players. So why not take some of those assets from 2027 and trade them in to the 2026 draft? The Miami Dolphins have 4 third-round picks, including number 90 overall. So why not trade one of next year's third-round picks to get into this year's third-round pick? Take advantage of that defensive back depth that we talked about. I have them with number 90 overall, going with the Duke cornerback Chandler Rivers, and then coming right back with their native 96th overall selection and going with Kamari Ramsey, a safety from Southern Cal.
Rivers from Duke, 5'9", 5'10", you think they'll go there?
That's the question. When you hear 5'9", 185 pounds, you think there's no way that the Seahawks would select this player. And then when you watch him, you see the physicality. You see the fact that he never missed a single game throughout his 4-year career. He was a 4-year starter at Duke. And I think that retaining Josh Jobe and then moving Devin Witherspoon to the outside, to me, now you have your outside corners. You have a need for that nickel cornerback spot. And obviously, super sophomore Nicky Manwari is going to be playing a lot of that as well. But I do think that there is a need for another nickel corner. Seattle brought in Noah Igbenogany as a free agent, but I still think that there is a need there. And Chandler Rivers, to me, while he is undersized, he plays much bigger than his size with the physicality against the run and certainly the agility and the ball skills the Seahawks prioritize a cornerback as well.
Yeah, that's a little bit like Devin Witherspoon. I mean, when they went after him, he was only 6'1" or 6 foot, 185, kind of in that range, and maybe even that's how they list him. But you know how it is, Rob. They list him a little heavier and a little taller than they really are. And when you see Witherspoon out of the field, you say, man, he looks slight, but he throws his body around like a wrecking ball, and they love his physical play. I got to ask you this. You heard John Schneider and the way he kind of approached the pre-draft presser the other day. It's like, is there any belief that you think maybe because he threw his hand out there right away, we're looking to trade down? And we never hear John Schneider say that. Do you think that was a bit of a smokescreen at all, and that they possibly will just stay at 32?
I think there's a possibility. I do believe with only 4 draft picks, that's the least amount of any teams in the NFL. So I do think that they would like to have draft picks. I think that they are very much advertising it. But I also think that John Schneider, this is not his first rodeo, of course, and that he is very well prepared to sit and pick at number 32 overall. And that's one of the reasons why I have a hard time believing that Seattle, if they do trade down, they're going to trade down very far. And that's why I have them only dropping from 32 to 34 to get the player that I think that they might take at number 32.
All right, we got Rob Rang's mock Seahawks draft. Seahawks have picked 34, 64, 90, 96 so far. A running back, an edge rusher, a safety, and a cornerback. 2 picks to go now on your mock draft. Rob Rang has taken John Schneider's 4 picks, turned them into 6. Next pick, 143. Where do they go there?
This is that 5th round selection that they acquired in that trade down with the Arizona Cardinals. So to me, it's a little bit of a wild card selection. And there's an awful lot of Seahawks fans out there who are very nervous about the interior of the offensive line, specifically right guard. So I do think that this might be a selection where, hey, if there is an offensive lineman that checks the boxes for John Benton, the offensive line coach, and Brian Fleury as offensive coordinator, their system, then let's roll with that. And Alex Harkey, a relatively local prospect, he played at the University of Oregon this past season. Guys, he started 14 games for Oregon at the right tackle position. He doesn't have the longest of arms. I think that he is going to be best suited to right guard in the NFL. And so to me, his size, again, 6'6", 310 pounds, very light feet. I just think that he checks off a lot of Seahawks boxes and would be somebody that could push Anthony Bradford as well as Bryce Cable do, a second-year player I personally am very high on for the Seahawks, could push them for possible playing time this upcoming season.
Hey, real quick, Rob, you have 188. You want to go local there?
I do. I would be surprised if the Seahawks don't actually go local with the University of Washington prospect at some point in this draft class. It's a fairly bold statement considering that they only have 4 picks, of course, but whether it be the running back, Jonah Coleman, the cornerback, Takario Davis, even the wide receiver, Denzel Boston, should he somehow be available, number 32 overall. There's just an awful lot of Huskies that look like future Seahawks. And one that isn't getting much attention is the defensive tackle, Ontario Thompson, 6'2", 307 pounds, didn't play that much for the Huskies. But my goodness, was he phenomenal.
6'2" what?
6'2", 307 pounds.
Wow.
And so he's kind of a short, stubby guy, but he's much more explosive than that 307 pounds would suggest. He ran a 4.73 in the 40-yard dash. Wow. He has 33-inch arms and put up the bar 225 pounds 30 times at his pro day. The one thing that he does very, very well is he gets after punters and blocks punts. He had 3 of them blocked over his college career. We know how the Seahawks prioritize special teams, and I also believe that this young man has the talent to justify a late selection because he could develop amidst all of the talent the Seattle has on the defensive line.
300 plus. He's running a 4.7.